Hi, today we're gonna can beef stew. So come along with me as we do it together. So first I'm gonna start off with the ingredients. It's pretty simple. We're gonna do the raw pack method with this. And we're gonna start out with 4 cups of carrots, 4 cups of celery, and 4 cups of potatoes, and 2 cups of onions. We'll see how that goes. But I have my potatoes here I'm gonna dice up now. My celery and carrots I had done from when I did the chicken pot pie filling video yesterday, so that's why I have those prepared. When you're canning root vegetables in soups and stews, you need to make sure you peel. Tested recipes will always have you peel them, so potatoes, carrots always need to be peeled. We like our beef stew to be mainly meat and potatoes. So that is how I'm going to pack these jars, mainly beef and potatoes. So if you wanted to put more carrots, more celery, more onions in yours, feel free to do that. Since we're pressure canning it won't matter the quantities. I prefer the raw pack method because the meat is juicier, in my opinion, than if you were to cook all the ingredients and then hot pack it into the jars. So, and it is easier because you're just cutting up the ingredients and then layering them in the jars. So it's a double win. Some people will tell you to brown the meat. For stew, I don't really find it necessary because the meat is already tender. I have some leftovers right here from yesterday's recipe as well, so we'll see how much this gives us. That absolutely should be enough. 7 jars are the amount that my canner can hold. We'll start out with the 4 pounds of stew meat. So we're just going to evenly put these in each of the jars. We're going to go ahead and start with the next ingredients, and that's going to be our potatoes. Next is going to be the carrots. And now for a little bit of celery, not too much. Lastly, the onions. I ended up packing the jars too much, and so I had to take the onions out with a little bit of seasoning. Now we're going to get some broth going, and I'm going to fill each of these with beef broth. And then we'll debubble and we'll see where we're at. And I just wanted to show you that I'm going to be using 3 cartons of the unsalted beef broth. And my broth is ready. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. I have some more back here because I know that all 3 cartons wouldn't fit in my tea kettle. So I'm heating some up back there so we can keep going. And actually, before I go further, now we're going to do the seasonings. We're going to do 1 teaspoon of garlic to each jar. I always end up adding Worcestershire sauce to mine, and sometimes I will thicken it up as well. So I'm doing a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. And do a little bit of rosemary as well. And because my broth is unsalted, I'm going to add a little bit of pickling salt. Not table salt. You don't want to use table salt when you're canning. Canning or pickling salt or kosher salt. Now we're going to continue with filling the jars with the broth. And you want to fill until 1 inch headspace. So this is our debubbler we're going to be using. I typically just use this, or I use a chopstick, plastic chopstick. So you're going to want to get down in there. Make sure you get in between. Some of these I feel too much. Gonna have to take a little bit out. I actually filled them too much, so here I am taking out the onions and some of the seasoning to make it so it was an inch headspace. Now that we've debubbled them, we're gonna go ahead and wipe the rims off with vinegar. Because I had to take some of the onion out on top. Some of the seasoning came off, which is no big deal because you can always add seasoning when you go to make the dinner. So now we're going to put on the lids. And rings. Fingertip tape. And now they're ready to go into the canner. I'm gonna bring you over closer to the canner. Okay, I have the canner. You can see I put 3.5 quarts of water in here. And I'm gonna make sure I can see through this vent hole. And I can. You always wanna make sure that vent hole is clear. Make sure your gasket is on correctly. You wanna make sure you do this every time you can. And now I'm just gonna put my jars in. Six will go on the outside. Make sure you don't touch any of the jars and make sure you don't touch the canner itself. So after you're done putting the jars in, you want to make sure your water level is not more than halfway up your jars. Now that we've done that, we want to go in and make sure my V lines up with my handle V right here. Close it tight. Now we're going to turn it on to medium high. We're going to get this air to vent for 10 minutes straight. And I'll bring you back when that happens. Hi, okay, so you can see the air on the microwave right here. It's becoming a steady flow. So we're gonna set the timer for 10 minutes. And then once the timer goes off, we'll put the weight on the vent until the pressure comes up to 11 pounds. Okay, now I'm gonna put the weight on. Now we're gonna wait for the pressure to come up to 11 pounds. And I'm also gonna explain all the okay, you can see my pressure's come up to 11 pounds. We're gonna set the timer for 90 minutes. And I'm gonna turn down the heat so I don't want to have the pressure keep going up. It's actually the next day because it got so late. I just let my canner cool down after the 90 minutes processed. And so here I am opening the lid. I'm still tilting it away from me in case there's any heat still in there. And now I'm getting the jars out using my jar lifter. After the first look in there, I did confirm that all my jars had sealed, so that's always a great thing. And they look so yummy. There's the final product.